A woman in a blue dress drives a red sports car through the city at night. Men in suits bow as she steps out, her face a mask of cold fury. She strides into the building with grim determination. Inside a lavish party, her younger brother greets a woman in a white dress, her fiancé standing close by, smiling at the newcomer. The woman in blue watches from afar, her expression hardening. A woman in a pink dress approaches her, whispering with a smug smile. The woman in blue listens, her eyes narrowing into slits. She turns, grabs a wine bottle from a table and walks directly towards her fiancé. And the woman in white, her brother's face fills with shock, her fiancé stares, his smile frozen. The woman in white looks down, feigning humility. While the party guests whisper and point, the younger brother steps forward, his face a mix of frustration and disbelief as he defends the other woman. The woman in blue sneers at his words. Her fiancé's face contorts with rage. He steps up to her, his voice sharp. She doesn't flinch, her eyes blazing as she fires back, silencing him. She turns to the crowd, her voice ringing with authority. Her gaze lands on the woman in pink. A silent order passing between them, the woman in pink smiles, a promise of retribution in her eyes. Panic ripples through the guests, their faces drain of color. In a car, the woman in pink hands a file to the woman in blue. She reads the document, her face hardening with every word. A flashback shows the woman in white, at a party, being ridiculed by guests for her cheap imitation. The fiancé and the younger brother rush to her defense, their faces twisted in anger at the mockers. Back in the car, the woman in pink continues her story, a smug look on her face. The woman in blue listens intently, her eyes turning to ice. The woman in pink explains how the imposter charmed everyone. The woman in blue tosses the file aside, her mind made up. Back at the party, her fiancé sees her and freezes in shock. He stammers, trying to explain himself. The younger brother rushes to his side, pleading with her to calm down. She ignores them both, her gaze fixed on the woman in white. The woman in white forces a smile. The woman in blue stares at the hand, then slowly lifts the wine bottle, pressing it firmly against the other woman's throat. The woman in white gasps, paralyzed with fear. The woman in blue leans in, a cruel smile playing on her lips as she whispers a threat, her eyes filled with utter contempt. The woman in blue slaps her fiancé across the face. He recoils in shock and outrage. She stands her ground, her eyes blazing with fury. The woman in white rushes to his side, her face a mask of fake concern. She turns to the woman in blue, tears welling in her eyes as she apologizes for a broken gift. The woman in blue scoffs at her performance. The fiancé glares, his voice dripping with venom. The younger brother joins in, threatening to tell their father. The woman in blue laughs in his face, then turns her icy gaze back to her fiancé. She reminds him of how his family begged for their engagement, then calmly announces that it's over. His face pales, he's speechless. She then turns to the woman in white, who is now clutching a broken gift box. The woman in blue smirks, accusing her of faking the fall to frame her. The woman in white flinches, her act exposed. The woman in white plays the victim, her voice trembling as she offers to leave. The woman in pink laughs in her face, calling out her fake act. She puts a protective arm around the woman in blue, ready to leave, but the younger brother blocks their path, demanding an apology. The woman in blue's eyes narrow. She slaps him hard across the face. She reminds him that she is his sister, her voice laced with disappointment. The woman in pink shoves him aside. As they walk past, the woman in white suddenly stumbles and falls to the ground. The fiancé rushes to her side, his face a storm of fury as he glares at the woman in blue. He checks on the woman in white, who points to a broken gift on the floor. He picks up the shattered pieces, his voice shaking with rage, demanding she apologize. His words hang in the air, a challenge she is more than ready to meet. A handsome man in a suit approaches the woman in blue. He introduces himself, offering her a small red box as a gift. She accepts it with a polite smile, and he walks away. The woman in blue asks who he is, and the woman in pink reveals he's a mysterious heir. The woman in blue is intrigued, wondering how her friend knows so much. The woman in pink quickly changes the subject. She makes an excuse and leaves. The woman in blue watches her go, a thoughtful expression on her face. She opens the box, revealing a beautiful jade bracelet. She slips it on her wrist. A perfect fit. A strange feeling washes over her. Later, in the car, the woman in pink reads from a file, detailing the man's immense wealth and single status. The woman in blue listens, her suspicion growing. She asks her friend if she knew him before. The woman in pink's silence is all the answer she needs. The woman in blue points to a security camera on the wall, a confident smirk on her face. The woman in white's expression falters, her eyes darting nervously towards the camera. The party guests murmur amongst themselves, their bravado fading. The woman in white's face drains of color as she realizes her lies are exposed. The woman in pink steps forward, her voice dripping with sarcasm as she threatens to send the footage to their parents. The younger brother tries to rally the crowd, his voice cracking with desperation. But it's too late. The guests are now terrified, their previous arrogance gone. They turn on the woman in blue, their words a mix of fear and anger. The guests begin to close in on the two women, their faces twisted with malice. The woman in blue stands her ground, ready for whatever comes next. In an office, the woman in red confronts her father. He tries to placate her, but she hands him a folder, revealing evidence of their business partner's betrayal. He reads the documents, his face contorting in a mask of fury. He remembers their past pleas for help, his anger boiling over at their treachery. The woman in red then reveals her brother's involvement. A cold, hard truth that hits her father like a physical blow. He stumbles back, his face etched with pain and disbelief. She presses on, showing him how their rivals have been profiting from their family's trust. Her words a relentless assault on his denial. She leaves him to his thoughts, a seed of doubt planted in his mind. At a hospital, the doctor, the mysterious man from the party, gives her good news about her recovery. A flashback reveals a horrific car crash. The woman in red, lying injured and unconscious, the man pulls her from the wreckage. Back in the present, she thanks him. Just then, her ex-fiancé storms in, his face a thundercloud of rage, demanding to know why she ended their engagement. In the car, the woman in blue questions her friend's knowledge of the mysterious man. The woman in pink laughs it off, claiming high efficiency, but her eyes betray her nervousness. The woman in blue stares at the jade bracelet on her wrist, a thoughtful expression on her face. Later, she strides confidently into a sleek office building, her presence commanding attention. Employees bow as she passes, whispering about the tyrant queen. In her father's office, he's overjoyed to see her, but their reunion is cut short by the arrival of her younger brother. He freezes at the sight of her, his face a mask of shock and disbelief. He immediately launches into a tirade, defending the woman in white and accusing his sister of being cruel. Their father's face darkens with anger. He grabs the file from his desk, shoving it into his son's hands, ordering him out of the office. A silent victor in a war just beginning. The woman in pink feigns terror, but the woman in blue sees right through her act. With a shared, knowing glance, they turn to face the angry mob. The woman in pink throws a small object to the ground, creating a distraction, and in the chaos, the two women unleash a flurry of kicks and punches, taking down their attackers. One by one, the remaining guests cower in fear. Begging for mercy, the woman in blue grabs one of the men by his tie, her voice dripping with ice as she reminds him of his place. The others fall to their knees, pleading for forgiveness. The woman in blue and the woman in pink stand tall amidst the wreckage. Their victory complete, they walk away, leaving a scene of utter devastation in their wake. As they reach the exit, the handsome man from earlier appears, blocking their path. He grabs the woman in blue's arm, his grip surprisingly strong, their eyes locking in a silent battle of wills. The ex-fiancé can't believe she's serious about ending the engagement. The woman in white feigns concern, reminding her of the scandal it will cause. But the woman in blue is unfazed. She calmly lays out the truth, exposing their affair and the rumors they've spread. The woman in white tries to play the innocent victim, but her act is wearing thin. The ex-fiancé lashes out, blaming the woman in blue for the other woman's misfortune. He accuses her of being heartless, but she just laughs in his face, tired of his lies. He lunges at her in a fit of rage, but the doctor intervenes, grabbing his arm and holding him back. The ex-fiancé is furious, threatening to have the doctor fired, but the doctor just smiles, slowly removing his mask. The woman in blue gasps. It's him. The man who saved her. The ex-fiancé stares in disbelief, his threats turning to ash in his mouth. The woman in white stumbles, pretending to slip and fall against the woman in blue, revealing the bandage on her back. She feigns an apology, but her eyes betray her malicious intent. The ex-fiancé and the woman in white stare in disbelief. She explains that her burns have healed completely. The bandage just a precaution. The doctor confirms her story, his voice calm and professional. The ex-fiancé tries to smooth things over, but the woman in blue isn't buying it. The woman in white forces a smile, thanking her for her forgiveness, but the woman in blue cuts her off, her voice dripping with ice. She reminds the other woman of her own words. That looks aren't everything. The ex-fiancé is furious, but the woman in blue just smirks, confirming his fears. The doctor steps forward, his phone in his hand. He informs the woman in white that he has recorded her actions and will not hesitate to take legal action. She turns to the ex-fiancé for help, but he's too busy trying to intimidate the doctor. He demands that the doctor delete the footage, his voice filled with arrogance. The ex-fiancé continues his tirade, boasting about his connections and threatening the doctor's career, but the doctor is unfazed. He calmly picks up the phone and calls the hospital director. The ex-fiancé's bravado falters, a flicker of fear in his eyes. The doctor's quiet confidence is more intimidating than any threat. The ex-fiancé tries to backtrack, dismissing the broken engagement as a lover's quarrel. He lashes out, his words turning cruel and personal. The doctor steps in, his voice firm as he defends her, but the ex-fiancé turns his venom on him, blaming him for her imperfect recovery. The woman in white tries to play the peacemaker, her words dripping with false sympathy. But her act is transparent. She feigns concern, but her eyes are cold and calculating. The woman in blue realizes that her doctor is the same man who gave her the jade bracelet. The woman in white gushes over the doctor's good looks. The woman in blue asks the doctor for a copy of the security footage, intending to expose the woman in white's treachery to her family. The woman in white feigns a dizzy spell, and the ex-fiancé rushes to her side. He turns on the woman in blue, his voice filled with venom. He accuses her of being cruel and heartless, but she just stares at him, her eyes cold and distant. She asks him a simple question. Was it really him who saved her from the car crash? He's taken aback, his lies catching up to him. He tries to change the subject, but it's too late. Just then, the hospital director arrives. The ex-fiancé sees his chance. He tries to pull rank, demanding that the director fire the doctor, but the director just stares at him, a look of confusion on his face. He then turns to the doctor, addressing him with a title that sends a shockwave through the room. The ex-fiancé's world comes crashing down. The doctor, the man he just threatened, is the owner of the hospital, the powerful heir he's been hearing whispers about. His arrogance turns to ash, his threats meaningless. He's trapped, and there's no escape.